Hokages in Naruto could be looked at as ninjas who not only possess crazy strength, but also skills and jutsus that are able to completely dominate any opponent. With being classified as one of, if not the strongest shinobi of their time, it's safe to say that each Hokage has proven their ability to influence and run the hidden leaf village. Now the NBA is a league that constantly has greats emerging within it every few years. It's also a league that has eras that's been ran by and influenced by a specific player or groups of players. With looking at both NBA greats and Hokages, I decided it'd be a fun idea to find similarities between shinobis who ran the hidden leaf and greats that ran the NBA. Now these comparisons are going to mainly be based off these characters' journey, personality, and skill. If you want more videos like these, feel free to subscribe and hit the bell button. But without further ado, the god of shinobi is one of many names that people in and outside the hidden leaf called Hashirama. With possessing not only excess knowledge but also immense power, his strength is considered to be the strongest, with ninjas like Madara not being able to defeat him, and ninjas like Kabuto who stated that his might as a ninja was so vast that it was held in a fantasy light similar to the Sage's six pack. This only goes to show that in real world terms, he's the goat of the shinobi world. But two other reasons why Hashirama was a feared and respected shinobi was due to his wood style and his versatility on the battlefield. Now even though he possessed all this power and strength, he also had major influence, with not only changing the power scale between villages in Naruto, but also creating the Wheel of Fire. His presence and influence in the Naruto series could be seen throughout the whole show. It got to the point where there were many attempts to experiment on his body to make clones and shinobis like him. Now personality wise, although he was a focused fighter and leader, outside the battlefield, he was a character who had serious gambling and drinking addiction. Not only that, but he was a fierce competitor who would often challenge his friends to friendly competition. So with all that being said, what other NBA player could fit Hashirama more perfectly than Michael Jordan himself? Now Michael Jordan to many NBA fans, much like Hashirama, is considered to be the greatest at what he does. With being one of the greatest two-way players of all time and also possessing a skill set that was well beyond his years, could be compared to Hashirama mastering every shinobi skill set while having an unrivaled power. Now one of the main things that really connects this comparison is not just them being the GOAT at what they do, but also them having, in my opinion, the biggest influence in both of their worlds. MJ is one of the few players in NBA history whose greatness exceeds the basketball court. Now much like how the hidden leaf abide by the Wheel of Fire that Hashirama personified, almost every basketball player, including all-time greats, desire to have the mindset and skill set like Jordan. With MJ being a player known for his killer instincts and his willingness to do anything to win, is a trait that we've seen many basketball players mimic after him. Not only that, but Jordan's influence in terms of culture, much like Hashirama, made him a symbol of something bigger than his profession. Both these guys were able to reach greatness through their skill set and influence. But another thing that connects this comparison is that they both were extremely competitive and had serious gambling and drinking addictions. If we're talking about a ninja who's not only regarded as the strongest, but also one of the most innovative shinobi, you can't forget about Tobirama. One of the things that made him such an elite ninja was his extreme focus to his goals. Tobirama was one of the shinobis in Naruto who valued structure, discipline, and hard work above all else. His main focus was to make sure the hidden leaf was not only a safe village, but one of the best villages in the show. And due to many of his antics on achieving his goal, made him look like a complete. Unlike his brother, Tobirama had a no BS attitude. He wasn't the type of character to sugarcoat anything when it came down to real issues. Now in terms of skill, he was easily one of the most versatile shinobis in the show. With not only being able to master various jutsus, his strength also came in his ability to experiment and create new jutsus to use on the field. He was extremely skilled on both the defensive and the offensive when it came to battle. But despite his amazing skill set, one thing that separated him from a lot of shinobis was his intelligence, which played a part in him naturally being a strong leader for the hidden leaf. Now the only player in my opinion that fits Tobirama perfectly is none other than Kobe Bryant. Now the one thing that really connects this comparison is the personality. Both Tobirama and Kobe are known for being stern, strict leaders, and in some cases they can be seen as stuck up. But if you really dig deep into why their leadership and personalities were extreme, you find that they both wanted one thing, and that was to lead their comrades and village to success. Like Tobirama, Kobe was a true student of the game. Although he mimicked Jordan, he's also a player known for his ability to experiment with very effective moves. Another thing that makes this comparison work is that they don't sugarcoat anything. If there's an issue or a problem, both these guys aren't afraid to call it out and address it. Now much like how Tobirama was a little brother to Hashirama, in the words of MJ, Kobe Bryant was like a little brother to Michael Jordan. Hiruzen was a shinobi who throughout his whole ninja career was regarded as formidable, so much so that he was also much like Hashirama, crowned the god of shinobi due to his power. With being mentored by both of the first two Hokage, it isn't hard to realize why he was named the young prodigy even before he was placed as his village's leader. Due to his experience in battle and his knowledge of jutsus, he was able to have the longest run at being Hokage, but even with old age, he was still one of, if not the strongest shinobi in the Hidden Leaf past his prime years. With an impressive resume and possessing various amounts of jutsus, there could be many arguments made of him being the strongest Hokage. Now when it comes to being innovative, Hiruzen with all his knowledge of jutsus was able to experiment and also create many of his own. Now just based off that fact alone, what better NBA great fits Hiruzen better than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar since high school was always looked at as a pro player due to his dominance at a young age. Much like Hiruzen, he was also a player who had an extremely long run in the NBA. He was not only able to compete in all his 20 years in the league, but he was also still able to remain as one of the top players despite being past his prime years like Hiruzen. Now Kareem was one of the most skilled big men, but part of what made him one of the best players of all time was his creativity. Much like how Hiruzen was renowned for creating his own powerful jutsus, he's credited for creating one of the most unguardable moves in NBA history in the sky hook. Due to this one move, he was able to dominate the league for years. With being able to accomplish what most pros can only dream about, Kareem, much like Hiruzen, has an argument for being the GOAT. If you were to mention the fastest shinobis in Naruto, one of the first characters to pop up in your mind should be none other than Minato. With using his speed to have his way against almost every opponent he faced, Minato respectfully earned the nickname the Yellow Flash. With being one of the most feared shinobi in the show, he was quickly able to rise to glory and climb up the ranks to be a Hokage rather quickly. Now one of the things he was most notable for was leading the Hidden Leaf to a huge win over the Nine-Tailed Fox. With proving that he's willing to sacrifice anything, even himself, to protect and help his village succeed, plays a role into why he's one of the more popular Hokage. Now besides his immense chakra and insane speed, Minato was also extremely skilled in sealing jutsus. With being able to contain many of his opponents in battle, the only player I could think of that fits perfectly for Minato is none other than Dwayne Wade. Now Dwayne Wade, especially in his prime, was known as one of the most explosive and electrifying players of all time. With him being an amazing athlete, mixed with his undeniable skill set, allowed him to climb up the top ranks in the NBA, much like Minato did with his rankings in Naruto. Like Minato, D-Wade's dominance early in his career could be credited to how insanely fast he was. Due to his speed, he earned the nickname The Flash just off how quick he was on the court. With both these guys being able to lead their team/village to success at an early age also plays a part into why this works so well. But apart from his speed, D-Wade has earned the title of being one of the best shot blocking guards of all time. With his ability to not only dominate you with his speed, but also be able to lock up his opponent, can be compared to both Minato's abilities to attack and seal his opponents off. Now the last thing that makes this comparison work is how much both these guys sacrificed for the success of their team/village. D-Wade has had no problem sacrificing his role or even money to help his team compete. Now Kakashi is a character who, although has proven to be an elite shinobi, is a character who clearly has dealt with a lot on and off the battlefield. With suffering the loss of his father at a young age, we can see that it affected him more than anything else. In my opinion, this is one of the reasons he's as private and reserved as he is. Everything Kakashi went through in the show carved him out to be a silent assassin. He's one of the characters whose name alone is enough to cause fear in his enemies, and this is due to the reputation to not only carry out missions, but also lead successful missions. Now when he does show a bit of personality in the show, he gave us one of the most funniest moments. So one of the only NBA greats that fits Kakashi perfectly in my opinion is none other than Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi, much like Kakashi, suffered from the loss of his father when he was just a kid, and like any kid, this was enough to affect Kawhi mentally. Now in my opinion, I feel like this played a part in Kawhi not really showing much emotion, but despite their blank face and no reactions, Kawhi, when healthy and playing like Kakashi, is one of the most feared players in the NBA due to his ability to frustrate teams on both ends of the floor. Now the last thing that connects these characters is the fact that when they do show personality, it's hard not to be entertained. Naruto Uzumaki is a character in Naruto who we could all say came from humble beginnings. With being completely rejected from the village, he barely had anyone to really depend on and go to. But despite his rough start, throughout his journey in the show, he was little by little able to gain the acceptance of the village due to his strength and potential. With being the child of prophecy that Jiraiya prophesied in his book, Naruto eventually was able to gain the respect of his village by leading them to a huge victory over Pain. His win against Pain essentially made him the undisputed hometown hero in the show. Now even despite receiving such bad treatment from his village, Naruto still was willing to not only help his village, but also be a great influence to him. Now Now, one thing that clearly separated him from other shinobis was his work ethic, despite already being gifted naturally. With for the most part mastering all kinds of jutsus and wielding insane power is the reason why he's the strongest shinobi of all time. Now, the last thing I want to point out is how Naruto put all his friends in position to succeed. So what better NBA comparison fits Naruto better than LeBron James? Like Naruto, LeBron isn't a stranger to having humble beginnings. With not being raised as comfortably as others, LeBron was forced to depend on his physical gift to help him change his situation. With endlessly working towards his goal, he was able to rise to stardom as early as his freshman year of high school. But I'd be lying to you if I said LeBron going from his freshman year to his first few seasons in the league was an easy task. Despite being able to dominate his competition easily, he was still faced with immense hate by the media and many sports fans around the US. The hate for Bron grew so deep that even his teammates from his rookie year joined the hate train. But despite the outside noise, many still stamped Bron as the chosen one early on in his journey. And with being drafted to Cleveland and winning the Cavs' first championship, Bron was able to follow through on his prophecy of being the chosen one and is now looked at as a hero in Cleveland. With him dominating almost all aspects of the game, it's the reason why many fans of the NBA view him as the greatest basketball player of all time. But despite his skill set, another reason Bron could be compared to Naruto is due to the fact that he put his friends and family in position to thrive on their own. Now, Naruto isn't the only anime that has many characters that could be compared to NBA players. Shows like Dragon Ball also has characters that share similarities with players in the NBA as well. If you want to see your favorite NBA player get compared to a Dragon Ball character, feel free to check out my last video. Lastly, if you have any shorts, reels, or TikTok videos you want edited, I'm offering my services to help edit videos for a cheap price. So if you're interested in me editing your videos, check out my Fiverr link in the description. If you like these type of videos and want to see more, please like, comment, and subscribe. For more content, follow my TikTok and Instagram. Thank y'all for watching.